Well, it's election day in Texas, and depending on where you voted today, you may have breezed through the polling site or been stuck in a much longer line. You still have about 2.5 hours left before the polls close.
Stacia Wilson is watching the roads right now to track possible traffic jams near polling sites. What are you seeing tonight, Stacia?
So it's been a very busy afternoon out there, and it's still busy. But what I am seeing, accidents that are occurring, they're clearing relatively quickly. So that's some good news there. Things are looking a lot better in the Arlington Grand Prairie area along 360, pretty close to 360 there at Brown, right where 360 and I-30 meet. Your map, though, you can see a lot of red on it. By the way, that major accident we had down to the south in Ellis County in Red Oak, that did clear on 35E. But I want to go ahead and take a look at some areas in Denton County where we're seeing really slow traffic. This is along I-35E and the southbound lanes there. You can see things starting to slow down at Swisher. You do have an accident at Quail Run. Looks like you have a couple of lanes blocked. So these are the areas that you need to watch out for if you are getting ready to head out to the polls. A backup in Denton County along I-35E as a result of an accident right there on the southbound side at Quail Run. Just checking a couple more things for you. We still have this slowdown along Loop 12. Traffic really building there, starting at Union Bower in the Irving area. Again, you had road work here earlier this morning. That cleared, but you can see traffic heavy in that area. So those are the things that we're seeing outside right now. Just because it has been a busy afternoon, Chris and Izzy, I would leave a little bit early if you're starting your commute right now.
All right, good advice. Thank you, Stacia. You know, one of the races we're watching closely is the new 33rd congressional district.
Yeah, the map was recently redrawn for that district. District 33 encompasses portions of Dallas, Irving, and Grand Prairie. It is a new race with some familiar faces.
Yeah, the district is solidly blue, making this Democratic primary the big race. And Kevin Reese is covering Julie Johnson's campaign.
Yeah, and in this race, we are really watching some of the first results of that Texas redistricting at play. Julie Johnson is the incumbent in U.S. House District 32. But as you said, with that House district heavily redrawn in the recent Texas redistricting, it is now heavily Republican, and so she's running here in the Democratic leading District 33 instead. We met her here where we are now at the Dallas Lockwood Library polling location to talk about how bruising this campaign might have been, how difficult to take her campaign to a new set of voters. Some of them are. She said, actually, it hasn't been that difficult. And here's part of what she had to say in her final push to voters in this primary.
I represent more constituents in the new 33rd than I do in the new 32nd. So, I mean, most of my district went into the new 33rd. So that's where I feel comfortable representing. It's the base of my support. So there's a lot of connections and a lot of reasons why this 33rd district makes sense for me.
And she is essentially facing off against her predecessor in District 32, Colin Allred. He was in that seat before he left for other campaigns. My colleague Brittany Costello is following his campaign for us tonight. Brittany.
Yeah, Kevin, Colin Allred was out here meeting with voters a little bit earlier today, but he says most of the work has already been done at this point. He says his campaign has spent the last 2 months meeting with people in the newly drawn district, but he says he is feeling good going into election night. He says this is where he was born and raised. He is confident people know who he is and is hoping his experience in Congress helps give him that advantage.
They've reduced the number of districts that we will have where Democrats will have a chance to represent us. So we need our strongest voices and our best players on the field, and I think I can be that.
Now, you may remember he dropped out of the U.S. Senate race in December. We asked him if he thought that might impact tonight's results. He says this is where he was born and raised. He feels optimistic. Back to you.
All right, Brittany Costello tonight, right when polls close, you'll want to turn on WFAA Plus for our election results special. Our political team will be live at campaigns across Texas as those results come in, and a panel of experts will break down the numbers all night long. Our streaming app is free to download to your TV.
Well, for several days now, our weather team's been telling you that Wednesday was going to be a weather alert day, but now Things are starting to expand a little bit.
Yeah, we've had chances of rain and storms, but we're starting to see the finer details in some of that as well. So we went ahead and added some weather alert days. That's actually going to be Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday.
Okay,
Yeah.
here we go.
I know. So we have several chances of rain and storms. We are getting a little bit closer to spring. It's certainly been feeling like spring outside. This is our Fair Park camera. We've had a mix of sun and clouds, temperatures in the 80s today. It's also been a little windy. That wind being out of the south, gust around 20 to 25 miles an hour at times. We've got a 29-mile-an-hour gust in Denton, a 33 in McKinney, 35 in Terrell, 35-mile-an-hour in Canton. Temperatures low to upper 80s. 87 degrees right now in Corsicana, 84 in downtown Dallas, 83 in Denton, 85 in Mineral Wells. Satellite and radar showing the mix of sun and clouds. We currently have some showers way out to the west, but that is heading off to the north and east. I think we stay dry tonight, but clouds will increase. Temperatures will be staying pretty warm. Even at midnight, we're going to be in the low 70s. By 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, it will be a little bit breezy. We're looking at mostly cloudy skies, and temperatures drop down into the mid-60s. But we do have the chance of seeing some rain and storms, I think, late tomorrow afternoon and into the evening, potentially strong to severe. We're going to talk more about what those threats look like coming up in just a little bit, guys.
All right, thank you very much, Cassie. A father has just been convicted of second-degree murder for giving his teenage son the gun that he used in a deadly school shooting.
As ABC's Melissa Adon reports, Colin Gray is the latest case of a parent being put on trial for their child's alleged actions.
We, the jury, find the defendant guilty.
A jury finding Colin Gray, the father of a Georgia school shooting suspect, guilty of second-degree murder and involuntary manslaughter. Prosecutors argued that he should be held criminally responsible for giving his son the gun allegedly used in a 2024 mass shooting at Appalachia High School outside of Atlanta, Georgia. 2 students and 2 teachers were killed. Colin Gray taking the stand in his trial, testifying that he could not have known what his son would do with the AR-15 style gun he admitted he purchased for Colt, who was 14 years old at the time of the shooting.
He's a good kid. You know, he wasn't perfect, nor was I.
During the trial, prosecutors showed surveillance video of Colt allegedly firing the gun in the school. Colin Gray seen crying as the video played. Prosecutors accused Gray of ignoring signs that his son was mentally unstable.
This case is about this defendant and his actions. His actions in allowing a child that he has custody over access to a firearm and ammunition after being warned that that child was going to harm others.
But the defense argued Colin Gray did not know his son was a threat.
Any red flag or anything that Colt did that would make you believe that he would ever be capable of doing this act?
No, I struggle with it every day.
No trial date has been set yet for Colt Gray. He has pleaded not guilty to the 55 charges, including 4 counts of murder. He is now 16 years old. Melissa Adon, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Authorities in Minnesota are now actively investigating 17 incidents involving federal immigration agents. The Hennepin County Attorney's Office says it may sue the federal government for blocking requests for key evidence in its probes into the deaths of Renee Good and Alex Preddy. Prosecutors are urging residents to step forward with photos, video, or tips tied to unlawful conduct by federal agents. The Department of Homeland Security says states cannot prosecute federal officers, setting up a major legal clash as this investigation unfolds.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem faced a grilling on Capitol Hill today, her first appearance before Congress since the deadly federal law enforcement encounters in Minneapolis. She was pressed from both sides over her enforcement tactics and past comments calling one of the shootings the definition of domestic terrorism.
What we've seen is a disaster. Under your leadership, Ms. Noem, a disaster.
Secretary Noem, you should resign, or the president should fire you, or the House should vote to impeach.
Now, Noem defended her record, citing a 96% drop in daily border encounters in the Southwest compared to the previous administration. Noem is scheduled to testify before the House Judiciary Committee tomorrow, signaling that bipartisan scrutiny is far from over.